If you enjoy listening to inspirational stories from people just like us, facing the fear and doing it anyway, then you're in the right place. My name is Claire Hill, and this is the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Hello, welcome to another episode of the No Rest for the Vivid podcast with your host, Claire Hill. And I'm really happy today to introduce this podcast because this guy, oh yeah, it's a man. This is the first male guest I've had on the podcast that I'm not married to. This is all about Ashley Leeds. Ashley is a pretty inspirational guy, and he talks about all of the work that he's doing and how brave and risky he's been and just how much it's paid off. So I hope you really enjoy this podcast episode. And if you do, please share and subscribe, tell all your friends about it, and go and follow Ashley. He's brilliant. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Hello, Ashley.
Hi, Claire. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Buzzing. And so thank you very much for having me on your podcast. I've been looking forward to being on here today.
Yeah, I'm so excited. How we got linked up was one of my Vivid Club members, Wendy, saying to me, I've met someone that's got about the same energy as you, and I've never met anybody like you before. And now I've met Ashley. You need to have him on the podcast. And I was like, right, okay, where are you? And then we went from there. And it's lovely to meet you and have you on here. You're known as the 15-minute guy on LinkedIn.
Yep, that's right.
So if people have no idea about who you are, maybe they know you as the 15-minute guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God,
that's my real name.
That's his name. What's your name? Where do you come from? What do you do for everyone that doesn't know you?
Okay, so my name is Ashley Leeds. Okay, and I don't come from Leeds. I live in a little seaside resort in Devon called Sidmouth. So I get to see the sea every single day, which is why I'm always so smiley and happy. And I can't wait for anyone to turn around and say who's got the most energy. Is this a competition?
No.
but yeah, so I'm also known as Tigger, the Duracell bunny. So what I do is I help people with their LinkedIn. Okay, so you go onto LinkedIn and it's a complete nightmare. It's scary, blah blah blah. And I actually help people to get more out of LinkedIn. And my mission is to get people loving LinkedIn and to get into a daily habit. And basically, my whole philosophy is if you can do it in 15 minutes, right? You just come into LinkedIn, do your 15 minutes, and then go away. If you do that every day for 5 days a week, that's 65 hours of free marketing.
Free marketing. That's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. And who can't find 50 minutes in a day?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing, though. It's not that the fact that people, straight away, I'd be like, it is tough, but it's not it's probably not being efficient with your time. That means you haven't got that 15 minutes. So tell me, when I first met you, I said, it's so refreshing to meet somebody that really enjoys that part of social media that they are passionate, that you are focused on. Because at the moment, most of the people listening to this podcast know me through Instagram. I have a bigger following on Vivid Wire, my handmade business, and I've got the Vivid Club. No Rest for the Vivid is on Instagram as well. But everyone's a bit, Instagram's a bit rubbish now. They all want us to do videos, blah, 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 blah. So it's quite neggy. But when I met you, you were like, I love LinkedIn.
I do.
And I love that. It's just so refreshing to hear somebody. Why do you love it so much?
It's just a great platform. For me, it's a place to actually make friends. Okay. It's not. It's all about letting people know who you are and what you're doing, right? And there's all these amazing businesses, and I don't know about them because they're not telling me. All right. But if I go on LinkedIn, I see them. I see people writing stuff. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I get to know them. And then they maybe follow me or I maybe follow them. And then we have a Zoom meeting and then we go, oh, wow, that's amazing. And, you bump into someone who's got as much energy as you and stuff like that. But you never know where it may lead. And a lot of people go to networking meetings. A lot of people don't like networking meetings. And it's sort of like, I can do this from the comfort of my own home. I can do it in my pajamas if I want to.
So do you feel like it is a real online networking event? every
That
day in LinkedIn.
absolutely, that is how I treat it. That is how I talk about it in my training. And once you get that, it's like a light bulb going off when people are in my workshops and they get that and they go, oh my goodness, yeah, why wouldn't it be? And I think with TikTok, you've got to do a dancing video. And I don't want to do a dancing video. And with Instagram, I've got to look pretty, and I don't look pretty. With LinkedIn, I just go on and I can be me. And do you know what, Claire? Every morning I am me. I get up, I am me, and it's so easy to be me.
That's refreshing as well. Some people struggle with that. So that's brilliant.
Yeah. Why?
No, I know. It's a social conformities and all of that stuff, isn't it? And how we're conditioned. So how did you fall into this wonderful work that you do?
Fall into it, or well, that's interesting. So it all starts with a story. Can I tell you my story?
Please tell me a story. Please start it with once upon a time, and everyone get comfy with a cup of tea. I love people telling me stories.
Okay, so it's quite a long story. It's quite a long story. When you go and do something right, we're all trying to be perfect. So I'm not going to post on LinkedIn today because I haven't quite got it right, and so I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. So I haven't posted anything on LinkedIn. So if you cast your mind back to the 23rd of March, 2020, okay, it was the first day of lockdown. And I love walking, which is why I'm always happy, because I'm always out in nature, enjoying nature. I walk down by the sea. I go down first thing in the morning. I go lunchtime, and I go in the evening. I've had guide dogs. So I've trained them and done lots of walking with them. But even if I haven't got a dog, I'm still out walking. People see me, oh, you out again? Where's your dog? All that sort of thing. But walking's a big part of my life. But we were locked down. We weren't allowed to go out. So I did my hour in the morning, and then that was it for the whole day. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And every lunch, I always have an hour for lunch. Always, because it's so important to get away from your computer, get away from what you're doing. Just take some time out. So go for a walk. I don't know, what am I going to do? So you can see the guitar on my back wall. I thought, right, I'll play that, and I'll go live on my Facebook channel because it's 3 weeks. So I'll do that. So, maybe I need my branded t-shirt. So I got my branded t-shirt and put it over the top of my long sleeve top, so I looked a mess. I sat down on the wall in the garden. I got my mic, my paper stand, I can't music stand out because I don't know all the words and stuff like that and the chords, and I'm not a brilliant guitarist, so and I started playing, and then the phone rang, so I had to answer that phone call in the middle of my gig. It was terrible. It was terrible. I just used my phone that was balanced on a piece of string. Any normal person would have gone, oh, I know what I can do. I'll do a video on Facebook live at lunchtime, but I won't do it today. I'll learn a few songs today, and then maybe tomorrow I'll do it. Oh no, tomorrow I need to get a decent camera, so do it the next day. And that would never happen. But I just went for it, Claire. It was rubbish. That video is still up there, and you can go and have a look at it, and you go, oh my goodness, that is horrendous. Yeah, but I did it every single day, and I did that every single day for 100 days. Even when we came out of lockdown, I carried on going because I was committed to doing it, and I'd got better. I was learning new songs. I was watching YouTube videos, trying to learn how to do different songs and stuff like that. And where I live, my back garden is overlooked by the retirement flats. So the elderly residents were looking out of their window and enjoying the music in a lunchtime. And then literally, I was talking to someone the other day, and that's 2.5 years ago. She said, I miss your singing. I said, I still do it Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'm still doing it now, but I did it for 100 days. And I was nominated to the local museum, and because they were doing a big thing on lockdown legends.
Right.
And I was one of 100 lockdown legends because of what I'd done with my music. And so I was in this exhibition at the local museum next to the guy that had project managed the Nightingale Hospital, and next to the lady that had been sewing masks. So, that was incredible. But all while lockdown was going on, I was involved with a group where we were coming in first thing in the morning and going on Zoom and just helping each other, just being there for each other, sharing our stories. And very early on, I shared a story of how we lost our house and our job and had nowhere to live and no work and no money coming in. And we got through it. It was fine. It was, it's not as bad as it sounds, but at the time it was horrible. But I shared that story with everybody. I was vulnerable to the group. And that enabled other people in the group to become vulnerable as well. So we were sharing stories and we were all working together.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing the Friday session, and I made it Fun Friday. And we did all these fun things, and that was amazing. I also do open mic. I don't know if you know what open mic is. So it's like karaoke.
Yeah.
But you have to take your own instrument and play your own instrument and sing your own instrument. So I was doing that as well. And obviously lockdown came. How do we do that? So I ended up doing that on Zoom. So every Thursday night, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 of us would meet up on Zoom. We'd all play a song and then we'd go away again. And we did that every single week. So lockdown, I made the most out of lockdown. But I just carried on doing stuff and putting myself out there. And the guitar playing's got better, so that's good. And then I had a phone call on Father's Day. Mate of mine, his little 3-year-old kiddie, just been taken into hospital with cancer. I'm going to spoil it right now. She's fine.
Oh, I was thinking that. No, my little boy's just literally turned 4 when you said
it's horrible, isn't it? I've got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And I've now got a grandson. So to imagine what my mate was going through was just crazy. And he phoned me on Father's Day, and it was 6:00 in the evening, and it was tea time. And I turned around to the family and said, "Look, just leave me. I'm just going to go and sit down." And I was on the phone, I don't know, hour and a half, quite a while. And it's like, "Why are you talking to me?" Well, because Sarah's in the hospital with Lily. I'm not allowed in. It's
COVID. Oh my God.
It's COVID. Oh my goodness. And we just sat there and chatted for ages. And all through the chemotherapy and stuff like that, we had this unwritten rule in the house. I don't know about your house, but no phones at the tea table and all that sort of stuff. If the phone rang and it was Will, just put my food in the dinner or whatever, my dog in the food in the dog or in the oven or something. But yeah, Ash is going to go and talk to Will and just be there, there. That's all I could do. Will plays guitar with me. We've got a little band. He's called Will Vine, and we go out as Vine and Dandy. And so I've known Will for donkey's years. But this was tough. But luckily, there's a amazing charity called Young Lives versus Cancer, and they help the children, and they do all kinds of amazing things that help that Sarah and Will had during this ordeal was incredible. And I wanted to raise some money for them, but couldn't think what to do. One of his other mates ran, I don't know, not quite up Kilimanjaro, but did a decent run and raised some money on Just Giving. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what can I do? And so anyway, we got to February of 2021. And so I'd been doing this open mic for nearly a year on Zoom, still doing it because some people still weren't keen on getting out. We weren't going into pubs. We'd done a couple of events at someone's garden, and we distanced our stuff and stuff like that. But we were still doing it on the Thursday, and there was still people coming in that weren't doing anything else. And so that music was important to them. And I said, guys, we're nearly a year. Let's do something to mark the occasion. And we used to meet for an hour. So someone said, why don't we do 2 hours? Okay. I was thinking of something a little bit more exciting. And I was having a shower one day, and I thought, I know what I could do. I could coincide this with raising some money for Young Lives versus Cancer. And so I sent a message around to the guys. I've had this stupid idea. How about we do a 24-hour open mic on Zoom virtually?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. and a couple of them came back. Yeah, great idea. What do you need me to do? Some people didn't come back. And then I had this email from one guy. While I love what you're doing, and thank you very much for bringing us the music every week, I think 24 hours is a little bit too mad, or words to that effect. And maybe you should just do 3 hours, or maybe even 6 hours if you want to go for a marathon. But I think it's going to be very difficult to put on. No one's going to be interested. And if you want to raise a bit of money, maybe you can do that as well. And so I got that email through. And you know, when someone gives you a reality check, you sort of like think, maybe he's got a point.
Yeah.
Or you think, no, I'm going to show you. I am going to show you.
I was really worried then you were going to be like, yes, I changed it to 6 hours. Like, well, no, stick to the 24.
Right. We're actually recording this on Zoom now. Can you imagine Zoom running for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the logistical nightmare of getting a different act every hour for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I bet you did it. Did you do it though?
So, but this is the thing, right? So I said to my family, and, you know, do you think I can do this? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I said, look, because I can get Ian to do, you know, the middle of the night bit, and I can get, you know, Dave to do the early morning bit. And my daughter said, don't be daft, Dad. You've got to host the whole 24 hours. I don't know about you, Claire, but with this much energy, when you get to 9 o'clock at night, right, you start inspecting the inside of your eyes, don't you, when you're watching TV?
Absolutely. Like, I'm just go, stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's me.
Yeah.
And then I plug myself into the batteries overnight, and I wake up in the morning, I'm buzzing again. And she said, Dad, if you don't do the 24 hours, the whole 24 hours, it's not going to be a challenge. And it has to be a challenge because it's been a challenge for Lily. It's been a challenge for Will. It's been a challenge for Sarah. And it's been a challenge for Lily's elder sister, Anna. And I, right, okay, I'm doing it. That's what I'm going to do. So anyway, Young Lives versus Cancer, right? They've got this amazing, let's call it a hostel hotel sort of thing up in Bristol near the hospital that families can go and stay at. Okay. It costs the charity 33 quid a night. And Will and Sarah and Lily went up to this hotel. It's called Dave's house, or Sam's house. It's called Sam's house. And they stay at Sam's house. It doesn't cost them a penny. They even get their parking paid. You know, the charity has just been incredible. They get a like a social worker to help them. And yeah, they've just held their hand all the way through this. And there's also a fundraising person that actually helped me as well. And so she's on the phone, so like, you know, do this, and why don't you do that, and stuff like that. And I'm saying what I want to do, and she said, oh, that's absolutely fantastic. We can send you some balloons and stuff like that. And you know, these are different people that have done other things and all that. So there's a lot of support there for me. And so she's called Steph, and I was having a chat with her one day, and she said, well, how much do you think you're going to, you know, you got to have a target. And I said, well, we would, you know, 24 hours, and you have one person every hour. So if we say £100 an hour, then that's 2,400 quid. That's not bad. And then she said, yeah, that's all right. But, you know, you try and think about where the money's going to go. And so anyway, I'm chatting to a few friends, and I was thinking, if we have more people playing, then that's more people watching them. So there'll be more money being raised. So I thought, well, how about if we do 15 minutes? Because obviously that's my brand. So if we do an act every 15 minutes, then we can have more people going. Now, I don't know if your brain's worked out the numbers now. That's 96 musicians I have to find.
Yes.
Okay. Every 15 minutes. How do you get them? How do you get them booked in? So I worked all of this out. Some people turned around and said, oh, can I help? And I said, oh, yeah, do this, do that. I had a friend, Richie Cridge, who runs a website business. He created a web page for me. So I had a booking form. I had a couple of marketing people that helped me with some designs. And so it was starting to gather momentum. And so I used Calendly, and I managed to work out that if you can book a slot, so it automatically then sent you an email and a little video on how to set up your Zoom. And then I had a couple of workshops where if anyone was a little bit worried about what was going to happen on the night, I was here and I did a quick Zoom with them, and we had a little chat and checked all their sound. Just lots of things going on. And so basically what was happening is people were hearing about it. I was all over social media, getting all these different people. I had people from America, people from Italy. I had a Dutch guy come in, and they were all booking on this LinkedIn thing, and I had this big spreadsheet. I was employed at the time. I had a job, so I had to do all of that as well,
God,
as well
goodness
as
me.
everything else I'm doing. So maybe if I did it again, I would actually vet every single act that came on. But Claire, I didn't have time because
No.
I came up with this idea 3.5 weeks before the day I wanted to do it, because I
Right.
wanted to do it close to the year. So the year was the Thursday. I didn't want to do it on a Thursday. I wanted to do it on a Friday, because then people would be around on the Saturday and they'd stay up overnight and stuff like that. So I did it on the Friday. But it also meant that the following Wednesday was the day that Lily rang the bell. It was the last day of her chemotherapy. So it all absolutely tied together perfectly. We were in lockdown. We weren't allowed out. We weren't allowed out. Pubs were closed again, and it was just
Yeah.
horrible again.
Yeah.
And so this was all bouncing along. And so I spoke to Steph, and she said, "Hang your target on something that's we know what it is." And Sam's house is 33 quid a night. It costs the charity 33 quid a night to put a family there. So I thought, like, right, okay, 6 months, that's £6,022. Let's go for that as a target. So we put that up on Just Giving, and people were donating money, and goodness knows what, and people were coming in and booking, and it was amazing. It was amazing. You've got between midnight and 6 a.m. So I think it got to about 2 o'clock, and then people were sort of like, oh, it's a bit early in the morning, I'm not going to do that. So I had a little bit of a gap there to fill. So I ended up with 77 musicians in total, which ain't bad.
No, that is really impressive.
And the core guys from my group every Thursday, they turned around and said, look, Ashley, if there's anything we can do to help, if you need a hand, or you want us to play some music in the middle bit, then we're up for it. So some of them went, they came on early and then went to bed, and then they got up early, like 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's that middle bit, okay, was so special. It was like a lock-in at a pub.
Yeah.
And if you bump into any of those guys now and say, what did you think of the open mic, the virtual open mic, or the 24-hour open mic? They go, oh, the best bit was in the middle of the night. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So we're getting close now to the event on the Friday, and we're at nearly our target, Claire. We were nearly at our target. We're nearly at £6,000. And Steph phoned me and she said, you're pretty close to your target. Why don't you put it up to 10? And I said, I was thinking the same thing, but we need to hang it on something. So instead of 6 months, let's do 12 months.
Right.
So there I was, right, thinking I was at my target, and I'm dialing it back from like 90% back down to less than 50%. Oh, where are we going? But I had some good acts on the event, so I was looking forward to that. And it was it was coming up to the day, and even the Thursday night before, I was still having email conversations with people desperately trying to get in, so moving things around to get them all in. So Friday morning, right, I woke up at 4 a.m. absolutely buzzing. I did a day's work, and we started at 4 p.m. And so we started at 4 p.m. The first act had already messaged me and said they couldn't do it. And the third act messaged me and said they couldn't do it. But the second act, she was great. She could come in early, and she learnt a load of songs that Lily liked. So she sang those. And it just started the event in a perfect way.
Yeah.
You're there worrying, oh, why have they let me down? And and you're sort of like, oh, come on, you said you're going to do it, and you're sort of like thinking, right, okay, so I've lost 2 in the first 4. What is this going to be like?
Yeah.
So there I am on Zoom, broadcasting streaming live to YouTube, and I've got people coming into the Zoom. So if you wanted to watch it, you're watching on YouTube, but if you're a performer, you coming into Zoom. And you know what it's like when you have people popping into Zoom all the time. So they had all these people popping in, and every 2 minutes, a bing, 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 someone else is coming. And I got my spreadsheets open up on my other screen, and I've got Sally coming in next, and then Dave, and then Andrew. So Sally's there. Yeah, message Sally, you'll be on in 5 minutes. Dave, you're on after Sally. All of that going on. They all had access to the spreadsheets, so they knew where they were. Everybody was in 5 or 10 minutes early. Okay. A lot of them stayed a little bit longer because it was like being in the green room and seeing it from the other side. It was just magical. And then it's sort of like, right, I've got Dave coming up next. And I quickly check in to see what Dave's doing. And all right, he looks interesting. He comes on, hi, Dave, and he starts playing. Oh my God, you're amazing. And all these artists were coming on, giving their time for free. And they were all incredible. And they were all coming on and oh, thanks so much for coming on. Oh, no. Thank you so much for having me. Oh, I think and it was just an incredible 24 hours. And I stayed awake for all of it. I was buzzing. I was absolutely buzzing. I hardly had time to go to the loo. It was crazy. And so we finished. So we did that nice bit in the middle. So that was fun. And then morning came and people were coming on and there was a buzz again. And you could see people on the YouTube channel. It was up and down all the time. But I've bumped into people since and they said, I couldn't go to bed. I sort of like, oh, I'm just going to wait for the next one and then the next one. And I probably didn't get to bed till 2:00. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And so we finished at 4. So 3:30, I think it was 3:30. We had Mike Reed. Remember the Radio 1 DJ came on?
Yes, I do.
So I had a little chat with him and he played a couple of songs. He was lovely. And then Will came on. So Lily's dad, he came on and he'd written this most amazing song, okay, which he's given to the charity. So you can get that and maybe give you the link. And you can listen to this song and the money goes to the charity. And it's called Take Your Place. And he's written this song about wanting to take his place of his daughter. And so he did that and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And we'd finished and we'd got to about £8,000. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I came out of the shed and I'd been in the shed for 24 hours. Yeah. And I came out and obviously had a little cry and then went for a walk. I was just spaced. I just couldn't believe how the 24 hours had gone. So the next morning I was up bright and early again. I was on Radio Devon telling everybody what we'd done and how we'd done it and stuff like that. And then by Wednesday, and so my phone's popping all the time and another Just Giving donation, another Just Giving donation. And we got to Wednesday. And Wednesday was the day that Spotlight had got hold of it. So that's our local TV, BBC TV. And they'd got hold of it. So they'd had an interview with me on the Monday or the Tuesday. They had an interview with Will. And the Wednesday was when that Lily rang the bell. So they had some camcorder footage and shared that on the TV. And so we were on the morning news and then the lunchtime news and then the evening news. We were sat watching it. And it was the very last item on the news. And we were £1,800 short of our target.
Oh.
And the news item came on. And literally 2 minutes after the news had finished, we had an anonymous donation of £1,800.
Oh.
It was just incredible. And I came, my phone popped on it. Oh my goodness. And I came straight in here and I went straight on Facebook and I just said, thank you to everybody and pulled my eyes out.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What an amazing thing to put all your efforts behind. Like, that's just incredible. Amazingly well done.
It was incredible. It wasn't just me, Claire. There was so many people in the background. Steph had put me into contact with a guy who lost his daughter. And he does a lot of fundraising for the charity. And I had a chat with him and he said, well, I can come on at 2:00. So what I did is I ran the Zoom and when you use Zoom, you can have a co-presenter. So I had a co-presenter all the way through the 24 hours. And this guy came on and he was the co-presenter for an hour. And basically all the co-presenter had to do was sit there and make sure I stayed awake. But if my laptop blew up, my Zoom dropped out, my Wi-Fi dropped out, we lost power, the broadcast would still carry on.
Yeah.
And obviously, and I'd quickly catch up with the co-presenter on my mobile phone and work something out. Luckily, that didn't happen. I had a lady contact me. I'm not very good at design. I'm not very good at marketing, but if there's anything I can do, give me a shout. And I sent her a message back. Thank you very much indeed. I think I'm all right at the moment, but you're a star. If I need you, I will give you a shout. And she came on and did the 3:00 to 4:00 slot.
Yeah.
And oh, thanks for having me. It was great to be a part of it. Everybody was just wanting to be a part of it. It was just amazing. I keep saying incredible, and it really, really was.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what was the final total that you raised?
The final total, £16,000.
That is so cool.
Which is the highest amount for 2021 for that charity on Just Giving.
Amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And that all started because I'd had the confidence because I was playing my guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the confidence because I'd been doing the Zoom open mic for, nearly for 12 months. I could have turned around and go, open mic's not going to work on Zoom, but I jolly well had a go. Yeah. And I'd built up this real community of people that really, really cared. And so the next day, I told my boss I didn't want to work for her anymore. And I quit my job.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was going to get myself another job. And my wife said, you're not getting another job. You set up on your own. If you can do that, you can do anything. So I set my own business up.
Amazing.
I had an email from that guy. He said to me, well done on raising all that money. What you pulled off was an amazing feat. You may not remember, but I sent you an email saying I didn't think you could do it. And here's a copy of that email if you have forgotten. But I just want to say, well done. And I'm sorry I got it wrong.
Oh, wow. How amazing. You have to...
I picked up the phone and rang him straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was lovely.
Yeah.
That was lovely. So I set my business up. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I coach accountants. So I thought, right, I'll do that. I don't know if you know anything about employment law or anti-compete clauses.
No, I don't know.
No, neither did I. When you start a job, you sign something.
Yeah, I do know a little bit about employment law, but not enough to talk to anyone about.
No, exactly. And the thing is, right, I was working for this lady and we were best of friends. And, it went sour. And, she could have turned around and said, good luck with your business. This is what I would do. But no, it was, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so I'd had all these plans and I couldn't do any of them. And so I'm there with my mentor, Richard Carpenter, who's just held my hand all the way through growing my business. And he said, well, find something else then. Find something else that you can do. But what can I do? And I'd been doing a lot of work on LinkedIn. I'd been telling everybody about my new business on LinkedIn. I've been sharing all these things that I've been doing on LinkedIn. I'm going to be coaching accountants, going to be working with accountants. I built my website, look at my new website, et cetera, et cetera. And I think, well, LinkedIn's really good. And I know my way around it. Why don't I start training people on LinkedIn? So I built up a workshop. Didn't know what I was doing, but I had a go. And I've now got, so I invited a load of friends, probably some of the people that had helped me on the 24-hour. And I don't know, I had 15, 20 people on this Zoom call, and I did 5 days. So Monday through to Friday, did 15 minutes each day. And we went through a few things. And at the end of it, they were all going, oh my God, Ash, this is brilliant. Oh, it's amazing. And so my LinkedIn Daily Habit Workshop was born. And so next week, I will be running my 23rd workshop. So I've put over 200 people through this workshop. And that all happened because I just gave it a go. And now I'm known as a LinkedIn expert. I've been on podcasts helping people with LinkedIn. And one of my posts, somebody from CIMA, which is the Chartered Institute Management Accountants, they saw my post and they said, that resonates with our members. Could you come and do a talk at our conference? So from what I've been doing, it's opened up other doors. I do my live shows regularly. I am absolutely having a ball. And this week, I should be getting back my manuscript from my editor of my first ever book. And
my God.
So yeah, it really is an incredible journey. But it all started with that guy just playing his guitar one lunchtime without making sure he was perfect. He just had a go.
Yeah.
And that very same guy last Sunday went and played at a festival, as a pub had a little festival, and I was the opening act on the Sunday. There was 200 people in front of me. It was just me and my guitar, and I was able to play to them. I wouldn't have been able to do that on March the 23rd, 2020. And it's because I've learned all those songs. I've got all that confidence, and I can play my guitar a little bit better now. So yes, if anyone says, I can't, I got to wait until I'm perfect, don't, just do it.
Yeah. Done is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. That's so inspirational. I think you just, that story is the essence of what I wanted to do with this podcast. Just show that sometimes things can be really scary and sometimes you're not going to be ready. But if you get that sort of, if something ignites inside of you to say, this is an idea, just look after that idea and just keep going with it. Because if you don't protect your ideas in the way that you did, if you hadn't protected what you thought could happen, and had that person email you and say 24 hours is a bit much, and you hadn't protected that idea, you wouldn't have raised like £16,000. Or if you let that phone call interrupt that first video, then you wouldn't have got to that as well. And it's like, we as business owners are going to face those things all the time,
every single day,
every single day. But it's about the infinite game. It's the longer sort of journey of where you want to be. And it's obvious that something inside of you was pulling you into this arena of what you're doing, and you're changing people's lives with that training and helping them grow their businesses, as well as helping families who are going through something really traumatic. So amazing, Ashley. Really, really amazing.
But I didn't do it for any end game. That's the weird thing.
That's the thing, isn't it? There's no end game.
No.
Yeah.
I if you'd have said to me on the 22nd of March, okay, going into lockdown tomorrow, and if you play your guitar, all right, on the 7th of September, you'll be recording a podcast because people want to hear your story, and you'll be telling that person on the podcast that you're running your own business, that you've raised £16,000, that you've changed lives, that you've done all these other things. I'd have turned around and said, "What? Just by playing the guitar tomorrow, really?"
Yeah.
Because you don't think of it, and so one of the things that I started doing was I've got this email that I send out to people. So it's just 5 ideas on what you can write about on LinkedIn. So it's just 5 content ideas, and I started that ages ago, and it wasn't very good, but I started it. Yeah, I didn't make sure it was perfect before I started it. I started it, and I didn't know when I started it that then that would be the basis of my book. All right, and so if whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, because consistency pays off. But you can't see that today. I didn't see that me playing that guitar, and I thought it was only going to be 3 weeks because that's all they told us lockdown was going to be.
Yeah.
I've got a book, okay, and it's about that thick, all right, of A4 files in Polly Pockets. Yeah, that's how many songs I knew. Yeah, I now have a ring binder. And those ring binders, and they're that thick, and I can only just close the ring. I know 170 songs.
Wow.
Because I was learning different songs, because I didn't want to play the same song on the first gig I played. By the 3rd or 4th day, I was playing some of the same songs again.
Yeah.
And so my mission was to learn more new songs. So I now know 175 songs.
There's no stopping you. I love it. I love it. I love it when I meet people, like, it's literally the sky's the limit. If I have an idea, I'm like, why can't I do it?
Yeah,
you tell me why. I'm going to do it. Exactly.
You can do it. It might take you a little bit longer. You might go through a more circuitous route, but you will get there.
Yeah.
You jolly well will get there. If your heart is there, you will get there, and you will make it happen.
I've had this idea for a while because one of my missions, apart like with the Vivid Club, it's about supporting people that have experienced trauma and adverse life events, and to really just transform that energy and that pain into something magical. But with my Vivid Wire, I think I said this to you when I met you before, I want wire art to be in the curriculum at school, because it's it doesn't make as much mess as clay. Not saying anything that's wrong with clay, but
Well, you don't have to fire it either, do you?
Yeah, you don't, exactly. But it just is a really fantastic way to build self-esteem in children and how they create and build. So one of the things I really want to do is break a world record for the greatest number of wire artists making at the same time in a location. And now I'm thinking, well, I don't even have to do it in a location. I could do it over Zoom, couldn't I? And raise money at the same time. So now I'm sort of really inspired to get my arse into gear and get that idea off the ground. Because I will do it. And this is the thing, I think, I'm really passionate about, if someone comes to me with an idea, I want to dream big for them too. So I'm just like, right, okay, come on. Why not? Why can't you do that? One of my members in the Vivid Club, she was like, I really want to do like a massive big, she's a floral artist. I want to do a big sort of setup because then Vogue might, want to feature me. And I'm like, all right, come on then. Yeah, but I was like, no buts. You have to go through that idea as it's going to happen and just keep going. Like you said, just keep going because the sky's the limit with anything. So yeah.
You never know what might happen. On my vision board is the Royal Albert Hall. I'd love to play the Royal Albert Hall.
Amazing.
And as a kid, I always wanted to be a Radio 1 DJ. So I'm not a Radio 1 DJ, but I have got my own live show on LinkedIn every Tuesday, every Wednesday. You never know. Someone might watch that and go, you could be a presenter.
You definitely could, though. You definitely could.
You never know. So amazing. so doing what I'm doing now is opening doors. But the most important thing, Claire, is I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning, I bounce out of bed, and I come down here and I make things happen. And that's what brings me joy.
Fantastic, Ashley. Honestly, really inspiring. So I ask everyone who comes on the podcast the same question. If you could tell yourself one thing 10 years ago that you know now, what would it be?
Set yourself up on your own business. Stop working for anybody else.
just go for it.
Definitely. Because my wife turned around. She's the one that believed in me. She's the one that said, we don't need, we've got a pot of savings. Just spend it. Don't worry about it. I don't need to go on holiday. I don't need a new carpet for the hall, stairs and landing. It really doesn't matter. What matters is you being happy. And she said you could do it. And because I just raised all that money, I knew I could do something.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I could have set up my own business, but I didn't. Yeah. And I wish I'd have started. I don't regret not doing that, but I could have done. And anybody listening to this podcast now, you can set up your own business. You don't have to be Elon Musk or anybody else like that. You just need to be you, because whatever you do is unique and different, and you've all got something to give. And that's what I wish I'd have done. I'd be 10 years into my business, not a year into, or 11 years into my business, not a year into my business. But hey, it all happens for a reason. And
it does,
and that's the great thing.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. It's been wonderful to have you today, Ashley. And as I say, when I first met you, I've had 2 men on the podcast now, my husband and you. Someone was saying to me, like, you only have women. I'm like, I literally don't meet enough men that I want on the podcast. But there you go. You're the first one I'm not married to. So wonderful.
Brilliant. Hey, lovely to be on. Thanks ever so much for having me.
You're so welcome, Ashley. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother, Phil Vick.